Midnight Charlie Man, Patrick here. How you doing? Just got down to the garage here, and I'm upstairs thinking, because I had it in my head the other day. I had the Las Vegas story in my head the other week, and I didn't get around to telling it. And I'm thinking Sunday is a good day to tell it, to talk about it, because I wanted to commit it to film the other day. Now, okay, so. In 1998, I went to Los Angeles, and I was just 24. I actually turned 25 in Hollywood, and I've still got, and I've got a few pictures of myself of that time. There's one particular picture that, if I can find it, I can show you. I'm still very young and handsome. Okay. This is me. This is handsome me in 98. And this is taken a couple of days after I turned 25. This is a couple of days after my birthday, or one day. Handsome me. In fact, I was still working at Sega World at the time. I had said to them, going overseas for a few weeks, I'll be back. And he said to me, I was just about the head of Rides Mark at the time. I said, I'm going to America for a few weeks. I needed to sign off on it. And he said, oh, okay. He said, perhaps you'll have adjusted your attitude when you get back. I was like, yeah. And this is the Las Vegas trip I went on. And those folks sitting next to me were very good folks, and that guy in the back is a German guy. Got along well with him. And that's a Vegas trip. Everyone was working away hard at Sega. I was floating around Los Angeles and Las Vegas and but no, well, yeah, still handsome. And actually, I was staying at. I really get used to this because got the. I was staying at the banana. I was staying at the Banana Bungalow on. I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly. Cahuenga Avenue in Hollywood. Cahuenga Boulevard. I know that I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Banana Bungalow. It's no longer there, but it was there in '98. And it was actually a really, really good place when the world was a different place. And I stayed there, and I wanted to do a few different things. And what happened was, at the hostel, there was tours. They had all sorts of different tours going from there. And I wanted to go out to Vegas, and they have all these things advertised. And so what I ended up taking, it was a 3-day trip. And it was about a 3-day trip, and I don't know how much it was at the time. Let's just say it was $60. It was pretty cheap. It was a very, very good price. And the people who were the coordinators of it were very experienced, and they were very good, and they encouraged me. I said, I want to go to Las Vegas. He said, you come with us then. So it turned out there was a group of us, about 50. My memory is a bit vague on some things, mainly about the amount of people that were with us. There was about maybe 15 people. There was the 2 guys who were coordinating it, and they had a 3rd person with them. He was in training, something. But there was an English couple who were older than me. There was another guy. He was a bit of a loner. He was a cool guy. He was from China, and he was about my age at the time, maybe a bit younger. He was cool. Then there were about 5 or 6 people who you could consider mainstream people, that they were group people sort of thing. I'm not a group person. I interacted with them a little bit, and then there was some other people. It was about maybe, look, there could have been 10 or 12 of us, something like that. It was in one of those minibuses we went to, and actually, incidentally, David, I think I went to Tower Records in Hollywood about a few days before this, and this is in the April of '98, and I loved Hollywood, and I could find that picture, so I'd show you. It's really good. I didn't find that picture. I think it's in my parents' place, because when I moved out of my parents' place, I left 3/4 of my stuff there, because I couldn't really be bothered taking it with me at the time. I packed a carload of stuff, my essentials, that was it. So half my stuff is in my old room at my parents' place. And I digress. Now, Tower Records, a few days before that, I bought Page and Plant Walking into Clarksdale, which I lost on the coach trip to San Francisco about 10 days later, but I digress again. Now, we got in the bus, we were leaving Hollywood, and someone mentioned music or something. I said, oh, if you want some music, I got some music, I got a CD. I just bought this the other day, pop it in there. It's a Page and Plant Walking into Clarksdale. They had no clue what that was. And literally, like about 3 minutes into it, I sort of said, jokingly, in just some mild humour, I said, oh, if you don't like it, you can just take it out and listen to something else. They literally did that. 5 seconds later, he popped the CD, he said, here you go. I'm like, oh, I was just kidding. He's like, yeah, here you go. I'm like, certain Americans don't have sense of humour. Well, these coordinators didn't. Popped it out, and I was glad to have my CD back anyway. They put the radio on, whatnot. Not a big deal. Try not to digress too much. So the trip out to Vegas. Was great. It was fantastic. I got to see the desert for the first time. I'd never seen it because in Sydney. I'm pretty fucking long way from the Simpson Desert. I've never places I've been to a desert is Broken Hill. I digress. I'm trying to digress. It was fantastic to go out to see the desert for the first time. And so we drove out that way. We drove past Barstow, and it was terrific. It was fantastic. Oh, look, there's a stopped at Barstow on the edge of the desert. And I lighted from the vehicle. And there was a hot dog stand, right? And actually, give me 1 second. I've got to fix the door. There's a thing with the door. Look, there's a thing with the door. I have a little bit of cardboard that I put in the garage door. And if I don't put it in there, the door rattles, and it's rattling. It was annoying me. I'll put the cardboard thing to fix. Barstow. There's a hot dog stand, and I went up to it, and I was like, she said, how can I help you? I don't even think she said. I said, can I get a hot dog and fries? She was like, what? And I said, can I get could I just get a hot dog with fries? She says, what? And she did it, and I'm like, finally, I said, you can understand every word I'm saying. I'd like to get a hot dog with fries, please. And she went, oh, she went, wow, so rude. And because she just was trying to pretend that she couldn't understand. I'm sure they get many tourists, because I was technically a tourist. I'm sure they get many Australians through there. And she kind of used the Australian accent, of which I've she gets many Australians through there. I'm sure they get many Australians go through there. Anyway, back on the minibus. It was fantastic to get into Vegas. It was fantastic to get into Vegas first time. It was. I thought the place was brilliant. I suppose like an adult Disneyland. And we stayed at the Holiday Inn. And that evening we went to the casino. And to this day I've been trying to track down where the Holiday Inn is, but never quite find it. Oh, maybe I'm not looking properly. We're with this casino on the corner, right? This casino on the corner, there's a big buffet, a huge buffet area lounge. Paid like $5 for all you can eat, whatever it was at the time. And the coordinator's taken us there, and there was about 10 of us in the group. There could have been about 12 of us in the group. Wasn't a huge group, wasn't a small group. Alrighty then, so have the camera this way this time, and what happens is I'm talking, if the camera runs out of memory, I don't know, I won't know until 30 seconds later. So this is going to be a slice and add on. Camera out in the buffet lounge. We're at the buffet, we're eating. I had no idea that the coordinator, because this is the footage that's just camera closed up when I was still talking. I had no idea that the coordinator was going to say at the end of it. He said, no, you guys, you either hang around with us or you're free to do whatever you want after. You're free to do whatever you want. You're not obligated to. You can hang around with us if you like. You're not obligated to. You do whatever you want. We just wanted to have dinner together. We just usually come here. We have dinner together, and everyone just does what they want. And then what happened was, within 5 minutes after finishing up and everything, a couple of people disappeared. Before I knew it, that group, the collective, we had drifted. I'd sort of gone with them for some reason. We went out into this other open space. Now, this is a big mall atmosphere kind of thing. There's people walking around, the general public. It's a general public place, and we were just milled. That's the part where the camera, where they go, the second part, and we were milled around there, and that's when they started talking about the group activity and the collective, and so that part. Right, now the next part is where I decided to go up top of the Las Vegas Tower. I decided to go up top of the Las Vegas Tower. That's that part. The other parts that got chopped out last time, and it's so frustrating when that happens, because I'm going to keep talking, but the camera doesn't react until 40 seconds later when it shuts down the memory. Okay, so what happened before was I did delete a few things off there to make room, but those pieces I deleted off maybe were only a minute in length, so the memory just ran out, not the battery, the memory, and so I just deleted some more footage. They said, what does everyone want to do? We'll do things together. And I'm like, my idea was to explore the place by myself. I love to explore places by myself. That's what I wanted to do that night. And there was about 4 girls and about 3 guys, and they're like, and they were milling. I can't stand milling around. Can't stand it. And they were right just around me, but they sort of had their backs semi toward me. They weren't really speaking to me. I'm not a group person. I tend to, and if I'm around people I don't know very well, I will shut down in a group situation anyway. So I'm here, right? So I'm just saying, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, without even thinking about it, I took a step back. And I took another step back. And I'm like, Pat, they're going to see you. They're going to see you somewhere and say, hey, what? I kept walking backward, a step at a time. And at some point, I'm about 10 feet away. I'm like, Pat, they're going to turn around in a minute and say, oh, hey, what are you doing? What do you want? And they didn't. They didn't turn around. I got 20 feet back from them, so there was like a pylon thing. They were discussing amongst themselves. Hadn't noticed me. I was greatly relieved by this. Got behind the pylon. I had taken my steps back. They hadn't noticed me because I thought they were going to say, hey, what are you... Snuck away. Got behind the pylon. I looked at them. They were discussed the next morning. They would say they searched everywhere for the girl. I fast forward too much. And I'm looking at them. I'm keeping an eye on. I kept an eye on them for a while, and they were discussing amongst themselves. And they slowly. One thing I can't fucking stand is when you're all like group, after a gig, and everyone's mingled together outside after a gig. I like to make a decision straight away of what's going to happen next. I actually don't like hanging around outside the pub or after a gig. I don't like milling around. Like, let's get to our destination and then we'll talk and relax. So they were discussing, talking, whatever they were doing, and slowly moving away. And I watched them slowly move away. They did not look for me. They did not attempt to look for me. And they slowly left, not looking around for me because I was watching. None of them looked around for me, and they exited the area. And as soon as there was a good distance, I went the complete opposite way. Like I went the total opposite way to what they'd gone. And then I suppose I estimated, I think I wore a watch in those days. I estimated about 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes I was like, coast is clear, great, fantastic. Oh, yes. Got what I wanted. And it's like, I'm going to explore the town. So I did explore the town. I explored the town by myself. There was a huge shopping mall. Vegas is a big place, and walked around the shopping mall, and I got to this art place where they had, I think, local artists, whatnot. And I walked in there, and I was incredibly impressed by the art at the time, and to this day I could just, because I think I took their card, but I do not remember the artist's name or the place name. I did, the pieces of memory ran out again. Just not the value of the memory, the pieces of footage I was deleting must have just been too small. So I've deleted about 3 or 4 pieces of footage now, not the ones I just recorded. I went to the top of this tower in Vegas, to this exclusive place or something. It seemed exclusive to me at the time. Maybe it was just a regular place. And I walked in, and there's people milling about, and they're fairly elegant people. And there was a woman there, and she was maybe a couple of years older than me, and I was a bit shy toward women at that time, a bit shy, and I just walked up to her. Maybe I got myself a drink first, perhaps. I just started talking to her. She's like, oh, hi, how you going? She was an American woman. We spoke for about 20 minutes before she said to me, it's been very, very nice to meet you tonight. You're lovely. And she said, you have a good rest of the night. I said, oh, thank you so much for the conversation. I appreciate I got to talk to a local. I was pretty jazzed about that. And I knew nothing was going to happen or anything like that. I was just like, she said, it's been really nice to speak with you. And I said, likewise. And I thought, that's really cool. I had a conversation with a local. Maybe she wasn't a local, maybe she was from Los Angeles, but I got a conversation with someone in Las Vegas in a tower, and that was really good enough for me. And that was good enough for me. And so I went back down, walked the streets, and I walked through into the different casinos, and they were amazing. I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed the atmosphere of things. Las Vegas, a gritty place, a 70s and 80s vibe, very 70s and 80s vibe in Vegas. I loved it. And that Vegas sleaziness, that I suppose some people call it a bit cheesy, I loved it. It was really straight out of the 70s and the 80s, and it was terrific. And then I walked all the way down the strip, like way off the tourist thing. I just must have walked for a couple of Ks that night. Like, well, I just wanted to see what the place looked like. So I walked all the way down for maybe I was walking half an hour, 45 minutes. Got down the other end of town. Not much to see down there. It's just not much to see down there. Yeah. Oh, there was things down there. So okay. And I didn't stay down that long, very long. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back. It's interesting. I think it's fascinating. It's interesting down here, but I'll go back. So I want to get back to the action. So I walked back up the strip, and I walked into a couple of stores, a record store at the time. I walked into a lot of places because I wanted to see what they looked like. And at the time I'm thinking, if I had to stay with that crew, I never would have done any of this. They're not doing anything fun, right? They're saying, oh, what do you want to do next? Oh, let's go in here. What should we do after this? Oh, let's go in here. Well, is everyone agree on that? Let's take a vote. And to be honest, that night they weren't a thought on my mind. As soon as they were out of my way, I was like, woo! Party for party, woo! So I went back up the strip. Mind you, by this point it's about midnight or after 1. This is a couple of hours gone by. I went back into a casino. I think I might have had a drink at the time. Can't remember now. I think I probably did have a few. Because when you go to a casino there and if you're gambling, they give you free drinks. And so enjoyed that aspect of it, but I didn't get drunk that night or anything like that. I was just greatly enjoying exploring the town and what it had to offer, and looking at all the buildings and the lights. But I went into all the casinos and I walked around and I looked at all the displays, and I thought it was all fantastic. And then maybe it was about 3 o'clock. Some of it's a bit vague now. It's been many years. It's been 10, 20 years. It's been many, many years. And so I ended up, and the people I was with, I didn't see any of them on my travels that night. Didn't see any of them. I was going to say one of the guys went to see a cabaret show, but that was related that to me the next day. I ended up getting back to the Holiday Inn at about 2 AM, 3 AM. I got in, I tried to be quiet, got in. The group that I had abandoned, one of them was awake. He said, "You're in late." I'm like, "What's it to you?" I said, "What's it to you?" I'm like, "What? What's it to you?" I can't remember. So got in, had a few hours sleep, got up, get outside, and everyone's, people who called, they said, "I hope everyone had a good time last night." That group, those people who they said, "What happened to you?" And I said, "Oh, I had a great time." They said, "What happened to you?" And I said, "What do you mean what happened to me? We looked everywhere for you. You disappeared on us. We scoped the place. We looked everywhere. We waited for you." And I'm like, I played along at first, like, "Really? You did you?" I said, "Did you? Really?" And I said, "I had a great time. I explored the town." They said, "Where were you?" And I said, "You know what? You didn't look for me. You didn't look for me at all." And they went with a weird face. They said, "You didn't look for me." And I said, "I had a fantastic time last night exploring the place by myself. It was brilliant." They said, "Whatever." I said, "Whatever." And he said, "Well, you know what? We did things as a group. We made group decisions last night and we had fun together as a group." I'm like, "Good for you. That's just terrific." Because I had a blast in the town by myself. And I could just tell by the look on his face that they didn't have the... I could just tell by the look on his face that the way he was speaking, I'm like, "Yeah, I saw that you said you wanted to, you took a vote on everything, and you said, we'll go here now, we'll go there now." I'm like, "Spare me, please." Time I had was 100 times better than 100 times better time than I had, and he knew it. And we looked everywhere for you, everywhere. We waited. And I thought, "No, you did not. You did not wait at all." And I didn't talk to them much after that. I said, "Oh, I had a great time by myself." And they were like, whatever, mate." And I was like, "Yeah, I really had a great time." And I do not do well in group decisions. I kept the key for the Holiday Inn. I kept it. I didn't return my key. The English couple that I was with, the older English couple, I said, "What did you guys do?" They said, "We explored the town." And they said, "What was all that about?" I said, "Look, I didn't want to be a part of their group." And I said, "I understand that." I said, "When that," I said, "They said we just explored the town by ourselves." They said, "Did you have a good?" I said, "I had a great time. I explored the town by myself." And the other guy, the Chinese guy, I said, "What did you do?" He said, "I went to a cabaret show and saw a cabaret show." I was like, "Oh, it's fantastic." And everyone had sort of done their own thing. And then we went got a minibus back to Las Vegas, and minibus back to Los Angeles, back to Hollywood, and that took about in between that though, and there was 2 German guys on tour with us, but in between that we had spent a night at the Grand Canyon. Just a day at the Grand. And the cold. Actually, I should have this in, because we went out to the Grand Canyon, and it was absolutely blisteringly freezing cold. I had my leather jacket with me, I had that on, and I was still too cold to move. And I stayed in the minivan, and the others got out, and there was 2 Canadian guys on this boat, because some other people joined us to go out to the Grand Canyon. Guy in shorts and t-shirts comes up to the fence and says, he says, "Hey mate, do you wanna see the you wanna see the sunset? You wanna come out and see the Grand Canyon? It's beautiful, man. You wanna come out?" And I'm like, he said, "You alright, man?" I said, "It's cold." I said, "It's freezing." I said, "It was freezing in the van." He said, he said, "Oh mate, this is nice weather." They're used to it, I think. Totally used to it. I got out of the van. He said, "Please," he said, "You can come out of the van, man. Come out." And I wanted to, and so I got out of the van. I proceeded out of the van. I walked. He said, "You've got to see this view." He said, "It's incredible." Sorry about the rattling on the camera. It's me freezing at the Grand Canyon. I was cold. I was really cold that day. Like cold that day. I made a video. I made a Las Vegas video. Las Vegas video the other day. Right. Where's my other one? Yeah, that's Hoover Dam. We went to the Hoover Dam, which is just outside of the Grand Canyon. I swear I must be erasing. I swear I must be erasing small pieces of memory. Ran out again. I must be erasing the smallest pieces of footage at a time, and then the 4th time memories ran out, and usually I can go smooth sailing for a half an hour if I want 30 minutes, and memory ran out. But I had a very good time. I had a terrific time, and then I think a couple of days later I went up to San Francisco by coach. Oh, that's right, I must have made a joke with them or something. There's that group of people who were, you know, I don't know, I was a bit, because I think they were just so pissed off that I took it upon myself that I was able to have a good time by myself. And I think they were just pissed off about it because I just did everything as a collective. And I said, I'm going to San Francisco. I said, "Oh, I'll walk there, I'll hitchhike." And they took me, I think I had my dark humor back even then, although it has developed somewhat over the years. And I said, "Oh, I'll hitchhike there." And I went, "Oh, okay." I didn't hitchhike there. I made a very big mistake. Got the overnight bus. It was half the price, and never should have done that because I spoke to a few people. I from Sydney. I spoke about. He said, "You get the day bus to Vegas." I said, to San Francisco. Why do I keep saying Vegas? But San Francisco. And I said, it was a huge mistake. Should have paid double the price and got the day bus and saw everything. I got the overnight bus to save money and saw nothing. Huge fucking mistake. And I said, "Oh, I got the overnight coach." I said, "No, get the day coach to see everything." And I'm like, oh. Big blunder. Love San Francisco, but I'll leave San Francisco for a different. I'm going to leave San Francisco for and we looked everywhere for you. No, you didn't. No, you did not. Little sneaky. Little sneaky. Yes. Yes. That was everything. Yeah, that was nice. Oh, actually, and I got out of the bus at the Grand Canyon, and I got out of the minibus, and he said, you "Come out of the bus, and it's great out here. Just have a look at the view and all that." And I was like freezing cold. I had my picture taken. I was in mid-freeze. My picture being taken. It's like, was a painful grin. I was freezing. And if I can find those pictures, I'll put it on here. I was just thinking, if I can find those pictures, I'll show them. I think that's about it. All the information I wanted to accumulate that, include that information specifically. Yeah, but I had a good time there. So that was my Las Vegas, I suppose a fairly conservative Las Vegas adventure overall. I didn't do anything crazy. Didn't go to the top of any hotels and go in the spa like I used to do in Sydney. Except me, get drunk and just wander up to random hotels in Sydney and use the spa. But that was back in my wild party days. I had a great time in Vegas. I explored Vegas the way that I wanted to explore Las Vegas, and saw everything that I wanted to see by myself, and without being in a group collective. What do you want to do next? What should we do next? And I had a great time. Had a great time in Vegas. Really, really good time. And yeah, so I thought I'll commit this to Midnight Charlie Man, Midnight Quarter, Midnight Song, Patrick Kieran, and I just thought I would commit this to film. I thought I would finally commit this to film today. I thought it would be good to do that. So, yeah.